ladies, we are back today with our PCOS series. PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. You'll probably know if you have it. If you have some of the signs and symptoms that we discussed yesterday and your doctor has not diagnosed you with PCOS, it is well within you should be able to go to your doctor and ask for those tests. Ask for an ultrasound. Make sure that you are seeing if you've got, ovarian cysts or uterine cysts. Make sure you're measuring your blood glucose, your fasting blood glucose. If your doctor will do it, you can measure insulin and leptin too, which are great markers for insulin resistance. If you've got if you've got an inability to lose weight, you know that you're probably insulin resistant. The free insulin resistance test is my favorite because, it works on everybody. You lift up your shirt, you jump up and down in front of the mirror. If your belly jiggles, you are insulin resistant. Guess what? I am insulin resistant, and most of us are, right? So we tend to eat too many carbohydrates just as a westernized society. Hi, Sarah. Therefore, most of us are insulin resistant. We tend to not really do fasting as a society. Most traditional cultures will incorporate some sort of fasting, either for cultural or religious reasons. Americans don't do that. And if we do it, we're a little crazy. We go overboard, right? We're not doing it as a part of a balanced diet and a balanced lifestyle. We're doing it to lose 30 pounds, or we're doing it even if we feel like we're going to faint, we're going to make sure we finish that fast, right? So what I'm encouraging you to do and what your body wants you to do is adopt a more balanced lifestyle. I implore you to be balanced with your lifestyle, right? And when you are, a lot of these diseases of civilization will start to come back into balance themselves, right? Your body will start to be and do what it's supposed to do. Hi, ladies. All right. But today we are talking about PCOS and why you might be hypertensive. Hypertensive means you have high blood pressure, and a lot of women do. Really, a lot of men do. Sometimes I look around and I think all these people my age, all this young people, and I'm like, holy crap, I'm 37. Like, we're not young. Like, this is literally kind of middle-aged, right? So all of us middle-aged women, right, we do have a higher propensity toward hypertensivism, high blood pressure, as we get older, all right? And I'm going to break down why that is and what you can do about it. However, it's a particular issue for women who suffer from PCOS. There are 4 reasons why that is. Number 1, hyperandrogenism. That's a fancy term for elevated testosterone, but it's not just testosterone, it's other androgens. So building hormones like DHEA, androstenedione, these other androgenic hormones that are they're in excess in women's bodies with PCOS. You're in this constant state of building. Your body doesn't get a chance to break things down. Ergo, that's why your follicle just keeps building and building and building and never bursts, never releases an egg. That's why, your acne will build up on your skin. Those oil glands, your sebaceous glands will start, you get a lot of cystic acne with PCOS because your body is just always in this building mode and it's not in a purging mode, if that makes sense. When you should be able to release that egg, you should be able to release the oil from your skin, let it go. Your body doesn't get a chance to do that because of elevated androgens, all right? No bueno. So the second reason that you are hypertensive, the second reason that you have high blood pressure is because you are insulin resistant. Now, there is a huge correlation between insulin resistance and hypertension or high blood pressure. The literature is very clear on this. As you become more insulin resistant, the less glucose that you're able to shuttle into your muscle cells, the more glucose is shuttled into your fat cells, and the higher your blood pressure rises. It's a compensatory mechanism that the body puts into place because the body is imbalanced, right? Now, let's just take that a step further. With PCOS and insulin resistance, you do tend to put on weight a little bit easier. So if your body's shuttling that glucose into your fat cells, right, into your belly, in the back of your arms, and your booty and your thighs, right, then of course it's going to be harder to pump oxygen through your entire tissue system, right? More mass means that your heart has to work harder to pump all that oxygen and nutrients through the body, right? So as you become less insulin resistant while you're working on your diet and all these lifestyle changes that we are talking about over the past couple of days, as your weight decreases, your blood pressure should start to come under control as well, simply because the mass of your body has decreased, even just little bits, right? Even a 5 pound, a 10 pound, a 20 pound weight loss is going to take the extra burden off the cardiovascular system. And just as caveat, you should know that women with PCOS tend to have more cardiovascular events than women without PCOS. So it is a good time for you to start getting your diet under control, to start getting your lifestyle modifications under control, because we're not just talking about what's going on right now. We are talking about what's going on in the next 5 months, 5 years, and 5 decades of your life. So you might as well get it under control while you have the tools and while you have the time this very moment. All right. The third reason that you might be hypertensive is just what we talked about, right? The more weight you carry, right? And this is not fun for anybody to hear, but it's the truth. The more weight you carry, the harder your heart has to work. The harder your heart has to work, the more pressure it needs to push all that blood through your cardiovascular system to get through to the tissues, right? So as you lose weight, your blood pressure will naturally come down. You guys have the tools to do that. We talked about it ad nauseum yesterday. 3 nourishing meals a day, no snacking, no processed carbohydrates. And the more you eat better food, the easier it is to do this, right? You should have a treat every once in a while. We talked about that too. And really, like, you should have a treat every day. I try to have a treat every single day. Like, I don't want weird binging behavior. I don't want weird restricting behavior. So I make sure that every day I'm eating something that I enjoy, that's kind of like sweet and you know, I like, right? I have chocolate chips pretty much every night, but I have 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips. I'm not eating a whole bag of chocolate chips because I know the next day I can also have chocolate chips. So for those women who've been on a super restrictive diet, sometimes in the name of, you know, reducing weight, sometimes in the name of, you know, health, like trying to reduce your PCOS symptoms, you know, you tend to get super restrictive with your diet. And I see it time and time again. Women will cut down carbohydrates to a ridiculous level, 20 or less. And yes, keto can work for some people. Most notably, if you're a 25-year-old dude, you're going to do great on keto. If you're a woman with hormonal imbalance to begin with, you're probably not going to do great long-term on something so restrictive, because it's a mental game eventually. You can lose your weight, you can feel okay, although you're going to be dragging and not have a ton of energy unless you're a true type O blood type. You know, if you're an A or an AB or a B, it's going to be really hard for you to do something like keto or a super low carb diet for an extended period of time. Not good for you. You are going to need balance in your diet, and balance will come to your body, because everything starts with the chemical reaction that happens when you ingest food. Everything you put in your mouth sets up a chemical reaction in the body, right? So you want to make sure that the things that the raw materials you are giving your body, the chemicals that you're feeding your body, and there are good chemicals as well as bad chemicals, are beneficial, are really good for your body. Wow, my leg's falling asleep again there. All right, so if you are obese or overweight, your hypertension will be greater than women who don't have, who are lean PCS, right? All right, and on that note, and I'm going to post this research paper that I found on PubMed, but it did show that women with PCOS are 40% more likely to have hypertension, elevated blood pressure, than women who do not have PCOS. So those two things really are inextricably linked, right? So you want to make sure that you're taking care of your PCOS if you are worried about your cardiovascular system, and you should be worried about your cardiovascular system. CVD, cardiovascular disease, is the top killer of women. It's not cancer. It's not car accidents, it is cardiovascular disease. So if you have PCOS and hypertension, you are going to want to take steps starting today to reverse that. And the good news is it's not super hard, right? Number one, it's like free, right? Not free, but you got to buy food anyways. You just buy better food. You know, you can get outside and walk. That's free. It costs no money to go, you know, you can go barefoot even. You don't even have to buy special shoes. It's better if you go barefoot. Go into your backyard, walk around for 20 minutes, get some vitamin D, get your heart rate pumping a little bit. Also great for the cardiovascular system. And again, it's free to do, all right? So I don't want you to invest a lot of money in this. I don't want you to invest a lot of time in this, but I do want you to invest in yourself, because you are important. It is important that you are nourished so that you can nourish those around you that depend on you, and you all have them. Elida said this makes sense. Joe did great on keto. That's her husband. Well, I just did okay. I'm B positive and he's O. Yes, Joe did excellent on keto for 2 reasons. Number one, he's an O, and that's the oldest blood type. They do great on things like fat, protein, and animal products, so he's a shoo-in for keto. Number two, he's a dude, so he's got hormones that aren't as sensitive as yours, Elida, and women just don't do as well on keto as men do, all right? Caitlin said, oh, she's B positive too. Yeah, so Caitlin, you're not going to do great on keto. If you're B positive, you're also not going to do great on a lot of chicken, just so you know. That's a fun fact for B type, B blood types. You've got an antigen in your blood that reacts against chicken. So you're going to do better on things like beef, and then also lean proteins like seafood and fish. So we can talk about all those fun things later. I just published a whole blog series on blood types, jenniferwoodwardnutrition.com, and there's lists on there, but really easy like graphs where you can see, you know, oh, I can eat this and I shouldn't eat this. All right. So the 3 reasons we have so far as to why you are hypertensive when you have PCOS. Number 1, hyperandrogenism. You've got too many androgens, too much testosterone in your bloodstream. All right, so that's one of the reasons, right? Elevated testosterone is going to lead to elevated blood pressure. So bring down the elevated androgens, you will bring down the elevated blood pressure. All right, second reason why you have hypertension and PCOS is insulin resistance. Please go ahead and reference yesterday's video for that. We talk a lot about insulin resistance and PCOS. Third cause why you have hypertension and PCOS is obesity. So take steps. Like, don't let yourself be a victim, all right? If you don't like your weight, freaking do something about it, all right? Don't sit there. Don't say, oh, I wish I was skinnier. I wish I could, you know, follow a diet, because we've all been there. And I will tell you again, wishing ain't getting, right? If you decide that you are committed to taking care of your body, then every choice you make during the day is either going to lead you further to the goal that you've set for yourself or further away from the goal that you've set for yourself. So a rule that I could help you put into place is this principle: never 2 in a row. All right. So let's say you decide you want to eat great. Go to my website, download any of my meal plans for free. I've got recipes up the wazoo, you know, full meal plans, batch cooking. I just published that guide last week. Simpler Times, 7 days where you get breakfast, lunch, dinner, recipes, shopping lists, meal plans. Like, we could not make it easier. So please, please utilize that, because those are good foods, right? They're good for your body. They're going to help your PCOS, and they're going to help your hypertension. I'm just saying, you've got access to the tools, right? So if you decide that, you know, you'd rather have that temporary, you know, lift of having chocolate, or, you know, Rice Krispie treats or Frosted Flakes, whatever, you know, your thing is. My thing is Rosemary's caramel sauce. Like, please do not bring me Rosemary's caramel sauce. I literally cannot say no to that, all right? But I just try not to keep it around the house. 2 tablespoons of chocolate chips and I'm fine. I don't want to eat the whole bag. Now, if that was about 2 tablespoons of M&Ms, it would be a different story. So I'm like, you know, we're going to compromise here. I want some chocolate, but I don't want to eat myself into oblivion, right? And so they're conscious decisions that you have to be making during the day, because you've got a goal, right? If you've got PCOS and you've got hypertension, you've got a problem. And no doctor is going to give you a pill that's going to fix you, all right? And there is no guru that's going to help you do it. It can't do it for you, you know? You've got to make the decision to do it yourself. So use the tools and decide that you're going to make a commitment to take care of yourself, and then let every choice you make lead you closer to that goal. It really is about commitment and consistency. Okay. And she's soapboxes. All right. Jessica's an A positive. So Jessica, you are going to do better on lighter, you know, seafood, chicken, fish, and then you also want to incorporate some healthy grains. I will tell you guys, I'm working on a whole series of super inexpensive roadmaps. So for all of these disease states that we're presenting with, high testosterone, low progesterone, high estrogen, PMS, there's going to be a super easy guide that you guys can download and use, so that, you know, you can start healing yourself, because that is my goal. I want to teach you how to heal yourself. All right. Caitlin said, oh no, kidney stones got me. Kidney stones are a big bummer. And Jessica says she loves seafood. Great, because your body's going to do really good on seafood. Nikki's got, she's an O positive with PCOS. She's got possible thyroid issues. If you've got PCOS, Nikki, you probably have thyroid issues also. O blood types are more susceptible to thyroid issues because they don't do well with newer processed foods. O, as the oldest blood type, does really well on a hunter-gatherer or ancestral diet. So the more you start bringing in processed and newer foods, the worse your thyroid is going to do. All right. Jessica says, will almond milk be okay for me? Yes, Jessica, the long and short of it, almond milk will be great for you. Okay, so, hey, Dina. The fourth reason why you have PCOS and hypertension is this: increased sympathetic nervous system activity. What the hell does that mean? That means that you are too stressed out. That means that you are in a state of stress and you're stressed out. Okay, your sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight nervous system. So it's the state you're in when you're a little bit stressed, when you're panicky, when you're not sleeping well, when you have, insomnia, when you're all, tightened up, right? That's your sympathetic nervous system that has kicked in. And for most of us, pretty much stays around like an unwanted house guest for days and weeks and months and years. Your parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest phase, or side of your nervous system, right? And your nervous system is your brain, it's your nerves, it's everything that goes from your brain to really your muscles in your body, right? Your nervous system. And so when your brain is telling your body that it's stressed all the time, your body responds in kind, because you guys, the body keeps the score, all right? And I want you to remember that. So if you decide that it's more important for your family to be like stretched to the max, like we're all realizing that we've done for too long, now that we're just sitting in our houses and looking at each other all the time, I'm like, why are we running ourselves ragged all day, every day? This is nuts, right? So most of us are there, right, where we're just overcommitted and we're overextended. It's not that we're intentionally stressing ourselves out all the time. Most of my clients, when I ask them if they're stressed out, will tell me, I don't even feel stressed. And that's not because they're not stressed. It's because they've grown so accustomed to handling a large load of stress that it's not unusual for them anymore just to feel like they're about to snap, like they're at the end of their rope, right? And so that's one of the reasons you have PCOS and hypertension as well. It's a compensatory mechanism that the body uses because it's got to deal with the stress somehow. And when I, see women in my private practice, I tell them, we go into this, the reason you have autoimmune disease and chronic illness is because your body is literally having to ask you, it's having to slow you down and say, pay attention to me, do something for me. We cannot keep going at this pace. Your brain's got one idea, but your body's got another idea. And I will tell you, your body sometimes is more intelligent than your brain. So please listen to your body, because if your body is presenting with disease or illness, that's a greater sign that something deeper is going on. We have to look for the root cause. And I've given you 4 root causes today. 4 root causes as to why you've got hypertension and PCOS. High androgens, like testosterone, insulin resistance, obesity, and increased sympathetic nervous system activity, too much stress. So take steps to release your stress, reduce your stress. Go into our PMS series from last week. I gave you a whole day's lecture on what to do for leisure time, how to relax your body physically by doing something, that's mentally relaxing. So like for me, it's reading, right? Like we talked about. I also love walking barefoot in my backyard. I love like playing with my kids. It like relieves stress for me to play volleyball with my daughter. Just fun things like that we forget to do because we're adults now and we have to take everything so seriously. I call BS on that. You've got to incorporate some play or some fun into your day, because all work and no play makes Jenny really angry all the time. So play a little bit, okay? And that's one way you can get your sympathetic nervous system back over either balanced or more toward the parasympathetic nervous system, which is really where we want to be most of the time. All right, you guys, that's a lot of words for the day. Thank you. If you have any questions, I would love to hear them. Jessica just sent one, so I need more me time, like a big time out. Yes, let's be, I really want to, break that down a little bit for you guys. Yes, me time is important, but we know that like we are wives and mothers and, we're working in ministry, we're homeschooling. There is me time can sound very selfish, so I don't want to give you the prescription of me time. I want to tell you that you have to take steps to do things that are nourishing for you so that you can nourish those around you. All right. When I say take a big step back, I don't mean like to the exclusion of your family or, your responsibilities. I'm just saying try not to overcommit yourself and take time throughout your day to play and just take, a mental break from all of the, priorities that you think are important that really aren't important, right? So, last week we talked about baths, we talked about walking, we talked about, family time. Those are really nourishing principles. Those are things that will bring down your stress response. It's not that you have to like leave your family and go on a vacation all by yourself for 3 days, like some people I know. Yeah, I don't get to do that. I'd love to do that. We'd all love to do that. But that doesn't always happen. So build in leisure time breaks throughout your day so that you can handle all of the mental stress that's, just inevitable because we are women. All right. So thank you for being here. Oh yeah, Jessica, painting, arts and crafts and gardening. Yes, perfect. You totally get it. That is what I'm talking about. Things that you'd have your kids do for fun, art class, going outside and playing soccer, those fun things. Revisit those from your own childhood. Go get a pair of rollerblades or a bike and just do something fun. All right. So that's our tip for today. I hope this helps you. Pass it along to anybody that you feel like could use it. I do want to remind you in our private Facebook group. So I will put the link for the private Facebook group in this thread. We are having a happy hormones hour on Friday at 4:45. We'll be talking about libido. So it's going to be called Libido Lab, but you can only be there if you're a woman and you have to be inside the private group. All right. So it's not going to be live for just anybody who wants to see it, just for my special girls. So join that group because you're all special and have a wonderful day. All right.